checklists. You tick them off when you go shopping, or when you have chores to do, or when there's a lot of things to accomplish at work that day. So I ask you, what are they doing so often in my entertainment time? Even in games with fun core gameplay loops, the way to feeling like an underperforming warehouse supervisor is fatiguing. Lists of uncompleted tasks piling up in your menu or UI, while glowing dots guilt you into participating in all the optional content. Recently, I've been replaying Ocarina of Time, and it's refreshing to play a game that seems so ambivalent to whether you want to participate in the side content or not. There's all kinds of stuff going on the periphery of the main quest, and you can get involved if you want, or not. And nothing in the game makes you feel like you're playing it wrong, whatever you choose. It gives you the sense that you're feeling out the world on your own terms, getting involved in what piques your interest. And it's rewarding to follow a thread and come across some kind of prize that didn't have its existence telegraphed to you by some big marker or dotted line. There's of course arguments for why these markers and checklists exist. Developers don't want you to miss the content they made, and some gamers want to exhaust all the content in a game by having the hand of God direct them and let them know when they're done with everything. Maybe people like me could just be given an option to turn off all the markers and just never look at the quest list screen and be happy, right, while everyone else ticks away. But I'm not convinced, because I think the crutch existing in any form hurts the design of the games we get. Think about Ocarina of Time and some of the reason that game is so memorable, because it's densely packed with unique, weird stuff and people. Without markers to tell you who's worth speaking to, the game has to attract your attention with just the game. The bean seller doesn't need a big marker over his head to let you know there are rewards to be gained if you take part in the bean quest, because you just look at this guy and you're intrigued and want to know what his deal is. Why is this shirtless guy just sat by the river munching beans? Like, what's his life goal? Characters ominously hinting at discoveries to come, and then finding them or stumbling on them yourself rather than via GPS, made you feel like a real explorer, peeling back the layers of an often dark and indifferent world. Sometimes you might start peeling back too early, without knowing you don't have the necessary tools yet to achieve a goal. But the memory of that roadblock was often the only checkbox you needed to remember some riddle still remained unsolved out there. Is it more involving to work your way towards completing everything in a game by locating it on a checklist, or by playing detective and finding some weird statue in an ethereal, dark, dank cave that points you in the right direction, where you can take a break for guided meditation? That sometimes a cow is in. My point isn't really to make more casual gamers sweat. It's hard to keep answers from those who want them. At the end of the day, there's been ways to find out how to find things in games beyond the games themselves for a long time, with, say, strategy guides. And even by the time Ocarina of Time or the original FF7 came out, the internet was already around to provide help. But creating a bit of friction between the game and those answers forces a little more creativity out of it. Isn't it fun too when things do slip through the net, and years later we're discovering hidden secrets in some of our favorite titles, making them feel a little bit more like these little worlds with hidden depths and secrets still lingering out there, like they're more alive. I don't think games should always have to cater to people who just want to put minimal effort into figuring out what to do next, so they can just play with a podcast or YouTube video on in the background to quench the thirst of their dopamine-deprived brains. Sorry if that's what you're doing right now. This video is short, so surely you're giving it your full attention. I mean, alt-tabbing to put on another one afterwards is going to be a real ball ache. Maybe it's not that people want to listen to podcasts while playing these types of games, but that their hand-holding design has been a crutch for a lot of content that isn't all that involving and doesn't demand our full attention anyway, and certainly would struggle to make its existence even known if there weren't factors like markers and lists. There are of course modern games that don't have waypoints and quest checklists. The From Software games come to mind, of course. Though it's funny, in modern titles the choice to forego this design totally or partially is usually treated like an avant-garde one that only the great auteurs and imagineers of our industry are expected to try. Yet when they do, usually said games are rewarded with high critical praise and sales. So why not? It's good enough for the highest rated game of all time.